Hey everyone, it's BraveBird001 here. Today we are climbing the Elo ladder with this Love Cup meta team. I've been busy, so I didn't get a chance to battle in the Love Cup until later today, but even with a short amount of time, I climbed 200 Elo points with this team. We have Lickilicky as lead with Crazy Bulk and a spammy Body Slam, Hisuian Electro for general coverage, and a triple Legacy Poison Jab seeking to target fairies. This is a pretty successful team I find, and I wish I had more time to battle with it, but overall I still had a lot of fun with it. Thanks for watching, please subscribe to show your support, and make sure to leave team recommendations in the comments below. Okay, first up here we have Lickilicky versus Clefable. This is a pretty neutral matchup, I would say. Usually Clefables are running Swift and Moonblast. I can definitely tank one of these, so I'm not going to block it. Don't know why this person would be running Meteor Mash. Meteor Mash generally has pretty good damage per energy, but Steel on offense I don't think is particularly useful in this format, so I'm guessing they actually just didn't spend enough candies and just went with Meteor Mash because they, Swift would have taken less energy to get to, so I would have expected them to throw that right before getting knocked out by Lickilicky. Once again, I'm not gonna block X-Scissor. Nothing crazy here. Both moves are gonna knock out Crustle, so it doesn't really matter which one I throw. Both take the same amount of energy. I did forget I actually saved the energy for this one. I'm expecting them to block it since they have 2 shields, so might as well land an Icy Wind and actually get a debuff on them. I also expected them to block that one, which I did guess correctly, so I did go with a Swift. Then I'm just going to finish her off with a Wild Charge. I have plenty of health, and so I won this one, no problem. Next up, Lickilicky versus Bruxish. Usually they are running Psychic Fangs and also Crunch, I believe. So Psychic Fangs, low damage, not going to block it, no problem there. Launch off a Body Slam, pretty standard stuff. Now, I was expecting to not be able to throw 2 Body Slams back to back, so I just went for the Earthquake just to surprise them. 2 Body Slams back to back actually does do more damage since you are getting stabbed, so you are getting that 1.2 multiplier, but that does require you to be able to launch 2 of those back to back, and since Bruxish was running Confusion, which is a 4-turn move, you do risk the chance of losing that second Body Slam. Pretty standard stuff here, got a ton of health here, the Hisuian Electrode. All I have to do is launch 2 Wild Charges back to back and I should be good to go here. Next up, we got Lickilicky versus Skeledirge. Now, rollout is pretty good on it, but I'm actually gonna save my Lickilicky for that. The reason I went with Hisuian Electrode here is because the Incinerate is just gonna rip through this thing. So I'd rather save Seeking up against Skeledirge. It does have Drill Run, which does close to KO it in one move, close to about 75% maybe. And then we also have the Lickilicky that does have rollout that will do super effective damage on it. So I did let Electrode deal with the Lickilicky. Here I was hoping for an unsuspecting Drill Run. As you see, we did catch it. So what I'm trying to do here is actually throw in Lickilicky and then get some chip damage, earn some energy, so I can either throw an Earthquake at the Skeledirge or also be able to just do some damage with the rollout. Now he did block the first one, so he's basically over. Got no shields, throw the Earthquake, and it's a game for this one. Don't think I had to do that switch out. My Body Slam probably, I don't think the Slowbro actually had a move there, so probably could have thrown the Body Slam, but I was switching out the Seeking for a catch. Standard stuff again, Lickilicky versus a Fairy. I'm noticing there's actually a lot of people that are running a lead fairy team, either Clefable or Jiggly or Wigglytuff, sorry. I do find the Clefable a little bit more challenging. Wigglytuff I'm always able to win with just a little bit, a sliver of health left. So in this case, I am actually in a little bit of trouble. The Seeking's Poison Jab doesn't do good damage against Skeledirge. I'm expecting the Skeledirge to shield this one, as they know that I have Drill Run, so I might as well do the Icy Wind, get a debuff on the Mon, and then carry on forward. Very lucky that I was able to get a Drill Run through, so I think at this point it's game over. I mean, throw the Icy Wind, get a debuff, so X Scissors that are super effective against Electro do less damage, but you know, he's debuffed, I got one extra shield left at this point. It's all about just launching the Wild Charge. I think even if they had an extra shield, this would have been a winning con for me. Like I said, a lot of lead fairy teams, same stuff, a Charmer, so just gonna launch 3 Body Slams. Pretty standard stuff. We did throw an Icy Wind, which was a little bit of a curveball. So for this one, I might have actually launched a Body Slam and then swapped to Seeking for a quick Poison Jab, just to put it in bed. Yeah. Sometimes I would go for an Icy Wind because they do have 2 shields, and you know, you would just go through an Icy Wind just to get that debuff. This one is a water type, so didn't want to risk actually letting that go through and not do much damage, so I just went for the back-to-back Drill Runs. Now over here, I'm just waiting for the time to run out, so then I have a chance to use Lickilicky as a meat shield. I'm just going to Thunder Shock all the way down. They caught that I was doing that, so then they swapped out to Ramon, no problem. Throw a Wild Charge and another one. Now, 2 things I could have done there. I could have swapped back to Lickilicky just to put a reset on the debuff on Electrode's defense, or just launched the Wild Charge back to back. Either way would have worked. I did catch myself off guard because I thought I was going to swap out, but I still got the win. Scizor, a little bit of a uncommon mon to see in this format. He did let the Earthquake through, which probably was a little bit of a mistake on my part. Looks like this person is going with a pretty unusual team, with a Scizor in the front, Octillery in the back, and a Charizard. Yeah, this is a really bizarre team. And I was expecting to see Octillery with Lock On. I think what they were running was either, I can't remember if it's Mudshot or what's the other one? Mudshot or Mudslap. Obviously going to go for Icy Wind. Drill Run is resisted. Icy Wind also gets that extra debuff. Poison Jab all the way down, get a lot of energy, launch the Icy Wind to take the win. And another one. Lickilicky against a Fairy lead. Clefable, let's see if this one's going to have Meteor Mash. Either way, I'm not going to block it. It's not something that I can't survive. So I'm just going to launch the back-to-back Body Slams. See, this person was a little bit more clever than our previous player who just launched Meteor Mashes. This one was actually running Swift. Expecting a Body Slam, not a lot of damage, I can let that through, that's okay. Now because Lickilicky is pretty tanky, I figured that actually going for the Drill Run damage was more valuable than debuffing the Icy Wind, since the Body Slams are going to come, so frequently. Talonflame is a bit of a challenge for my team here. The only thing that I got going for it is the Wild Charge, which unfortunately you do have to take if you incinerate in order to get the power to get there. Rollout also, does super effective damage on it on 2 times, but then you don't get stabbed with Lickilicky, and then also the rollout damage is 2.66, which isn't particularly great. And speaking of troubles that I have with this team, Scrafty is actually also pretty difficult to use in this format. I mean, you are getting counter super effective damage from Scrafty, your rollouts are resisted, and then there's also nothing that's super effective against it. The only thing I got going for it is that the Electrode, you can try to throw it in to catch a Thunder Punch when you have Seeking going for it. So when you're fighting with Seeking, the Scrafty's obviously going to want to use a Thunder Punch, and then you can try to catch it with the Electrode, and that's resisted twice, right? Because Electrode is electric and grass type. I didn't get a chance to do that here, but that's just something that I figured we could do. But yeah, Scrafty and Talonflame for this team is a little bit challenging, so this one was a little bit of a harder win for me. I don't think the opponent made the best use of move choices and all that stuff, so I can definitely see losses with this team going against a no tank Scrafty, and yeah. Lickilicky, Octillery. Oh, there we go. This one's got lock on, so that's a little bit more of what I was expecting to see. So it's probably going to launch an Aura Beam. Oh, Gunshot, damn. Nice. Well, that's another great thing about having Lickilicky up at the front, right? Is that when your opponent launches a nuke move, you're actually healthy enough to survive it. So even if you do miss a shield, it's not as big of a deal as if you had a Glacier Mon, who actually then you just lose the Mon, right? Because they launched a nuke move that you weren't expecting. This was a mistake on my part. Shouldn't have launched into a run against the Talonflame. Icy Wind would have done more damage, and would have got the debuff too. But that's okay. It happens. Octazooka, that's okay. Didn't get the debuff. No prob. Now here's the thing, when you're up against a Talonflame and you need to pop off Wild Charges, what you want to do is save them for the end, right? In the event though where you are running Swift, then you could also throw that as a bait first. If you were running Wild Charge and Energy Ball, then you want to make sure you do your Wild Charges at the end, so you don't get the debuff, since the Incinerate is going to just rip through Electrode's health. Probably should have baited with the Body Slam. I mean, there's no way that this mid-cargo is not blocking Earthquake, but sometimes people don't, and it's worth trying. This was interesting. I don't know what they were thinking, because, I mean, they obviously switched out from a mech cargo expecting a drill run, so I don't know why they would have swapped in a poison type that would be super effective by poison. Or maybe they were expecting a water move, right? Actually, yeah, that's probably what happened. They were expecting maybe water pellets from Seeking, and then they wanted to swap. They did catch the move, but they caught the wrong move, so I don't know if I can give them props for that. Gotta bait it first. It's like what we said. Save the Wild Charge at the end. They did take it. Or actually, no, they didn't have any shields. So what I was thinking there is, I remember now. You had to, one wild charge doesn't actually kill the Skeledirge. So what you had to do is actually pop off a Swift and then do a wild charge. But if you did the wild charge first, you obviously lower your defense, you risk getting killed sooner by the Incinerate. So what I had to do was actually launch a Swift, which was double resisted, and then do the wild charge. A bit risky, but it's what had to be done. There's no way around it. My third Mon was super low in health, so that was the only win plan. But yeah, so here we go. Lickilicky against a Clefable, Fairy lead, pretty standard stuff. Wormadam. I think it's the first time I've seen it in Season 21's Love Cup. I do recall using this Mon in previous Love Cups and was pretty successful with it. The best thing about Wormadam is that you only have one weakness, and that is against fire. The bad thing about it is that it is in fact double weakness, but I recall that previously you don't get a lot of fire types in this format, so it is a risk that is worth taking. But with the shifts around the meta, Wormadam just doesn't stand out as much. A few reasons: confusion, you don't get stab damage, and personally, I don't like using confusion. I don't like using moves that take 4 turns on the fast move. Even 3 is pushing it for me. I typically like to go with 2 or less. So even rollout here was a little bit too long for me. But Lickilicky is ranked as #1 in this format, so you gotta use it. It's a big advantage to have him on the team. Scissor, have to win. The body slams. That was an unfortunate miss. Ball charge on a Blaziken. Very nice. And I just launched Drill Runs. I don't think it's got anything that can KO me. Psychic probably, yeah, Psychic. Psychic doesn't KO. It's got Water Pulse and I think Ice Beam. Psychic, Ice Beam, Water Pulse. Yeah, it's either not very effective damage or neutral damage, which was the Psychic, which doesn't KO. Lickilicky mirror matchup with a little bit of lag. Something that I failed to look into actually is if Earthquake is better in this case. Let me know if you guys have the answer. So Body Slam is 1.45 I think damage per energy. But given that you get stabbed, you multiply that by 1.2, and it ends up being a higher damage per energy compared to Earthquake. But the problem is, in a mirror matchup, your fast moves are taking the same amount of time, right? Because you both have rollout. So I don't know if it's actually better to use Earthquake because you're saving one charge move, which means your opponent gets one less rollout. I think. I'm not 100% sure though. That's why I'm wondering that, because I'm seeing a lot of people use Earthquake in a Lickilicky mirror matchup, but I'm not 100% sure. I should look into that actually. Same stuff. Throw in the Seeking. Try to get a drill run to end the slow bro. Obviously, Electrode is a horrible choice. It's going to get super effective by the poison jabs. Seeking is a pretty interesting mod to use in this format. Actually, it was really costly to run a triple legacy Pokemon: poison jab, drill run, icy wind. I caught this Seeking pretty late actually, so I had to spend 3 elite TMs on this guy, but I think it was pretty worth it. Sea King has been a pretty important staple on this team, and I'm really glad to have him on it. You can see Drogon does quite a lot of damage, really good damage per energy move. 4580, that gets 1.77. Lickilicky with the body slam. They try to catch the move, but it's not enough. Gotta try though.